What's up, everybody? I'm just a guy with the Bible, and welcome back to the channel. We're going to continue in our series with our second episode of Evidence for God. And in this video, we're going to be talking about cosmology. So, I drew a picture, and I don't know, this is like a galaxy, some stars, I don't even know what that is, a planet, and I drew a hand to resemble God's hand over his creation. But yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. And let's get started. Okay, philosophy says that everything that began to exist has a beginning. Therefore, everything that has a beginning has a cause. Because then how could it have begun if it didn't have a cause? And so, the universe had a beginning, which means that it had a cause. What or who is this cause? That's what we're going to find out. Now, the beginning of the universe is often debated between Christians and agnostics and atheists. Now, the Big Bang Theory just says that the universe had a beginning, and it began by nothing exploding. Alright? Now, at first, it does seem silly to think that, but isn't that what we Christians already believe? That there was nothing, and then God created everything from that nothingness? I mean, all that's missing from the Big Bang Theory is God causing it to happen. So it seems pretty reasonable and rational to think that the Big Bang Theory is true. Now, if you don't believe in the Big Bang Theory, then that's fine, as long as you believe in what the Bible says happened. Now, whether or not it was 14 billion years ago, I mean, that's not true. We're not going to go into that, but do you necessarily have to believe that the universe is 6 to 10,000 years old in order to be a Christian? No, you don't. Not at all. You can believe that the Earth is even older than 14 billion years old. It still doesn't get rid of the existence of a God or Jesus. But I don't believe that. So there are things that we see that point to evidence for a Big Bang. And there's an acronym that is used called surge. I know that's very, very sloppy. Please don't mind my sloppiness. No, I'm just going to go ahead and fix that. That's a little better. Anyway, surge is the acronym. And surge stands for the second law of thermodynamics, the expanding universe, the radiation afterglow from the Big Bang explosion, G is for galaxy seeds in the radiation afterglow, and then E stands for Einstein's theory of general relativity. Now we're going to go over all these things in surge in this video today, so please be patient. Okay, so as you can see, I fixed it. It was kind of annoying to me. Anyway, so first thing we're going to look at is the second law of thermodynamics. Now, I know you can't read that, but that's okay because I can. It says the second law of thermodynamics. If you can read it, that's good. What is that? Well, I learned in school that the second law of thermodynamics is when it's the natural law that over time, things in this universe wear down. For example, when I go to bed and then I wake up, Do I wake up with good-looking hair and good-smelling breath and everything? No. I go to bed looking fine, and then I wake up with messy hair, drool on my pillow, and I need a mint. So, things wear down, and we can see if you've looked at a building that has been abandoned for some time, you can see that after so long of it being left alone, it wears down. It gets broken down, and eventually, throughout time, turns into dirt, to dust, and it's gone. And so that's just naturally what happens. And that's what happens with everything in the universe. When things are left untouched, they wear down over time until they're gone. It's like our bodies. Our bodies wear down. We get sick, then we get better, then we get sick, then we get better, then we get sick, and then we die. But, yeah, so that's what happens. So if the universe is this way, every single thing in the universe wears down, and that means that it used to be better. If you go backwards in time, you would see that it's really bad, and then as you go, it gets better and better and better and better until there's nothing wrong with it. If the universe was eternal, meaning it had no beginning and it has no end, this would not be possible. So, since the universe would be eternal, then it would not wear down. Meaning, and since it's eternal, it has no beginning and no end. Therefore, it doesn't have a cause, which means it has no creator. Now, that doesn't make any sense, because things do wear down, which means that it does, which means that it's not eternal, which means that it had a beginning, it had a cause, at some point in time, which would, what we would call God. Something beyond the universe that created the universe. Okay, the second thing that we're going to look at is the letter U, which, as I said earlier, means the expanding universe. So the universe, scientists have seen that it is continually getting bigger. Outer space is getting much bigger and bigger and bigger, just continually. So if you think about it, that means if you look backwards, that you would see it getting smaller and smaller and smaller until there's nothing at all. Meaning that there was a beginning to this universe. And where there's a beginning, there's a beginner. The third thing is R, which is radiation afterglow. And specifically, we're going to look at radiation afterglow from the Big Bang explosion. Now, if me saying Big Bang is making you think, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, just when I say Big Bang, just think of me saying creation. It's pretty much the same thing. Just the Big Bang exists. We just know who banged it. It was God. Right. Okay. So radiation afterglow. What is radiation afterglow? Well, there's this thing called cosmic microwave background. We're going to do CMB for short. And no, it's not this kind of microwave. So, cosmic microwave background is thought to be leftover radiation from the Big Bang, from when everything came into existence by God. And so therefore, if there's radiation afterglow that's thought to be from the Big Bang, we already know that that there's a Big Bang and it's a beginning, and we know that where there's a beginning, there's a beginner, right? Okay. Next thing. Now we're going to look at letter G. Letter G stands for galaxy seeds. In 1989, NASA launched an experiment, and the name of the experiment was called COBE, or COBE, I don't know, but it stands for Cosmic Background Explorer. I'll just write it right here. C-O-B-E. Again, very messy. Please excuse me. Anyway, and what COBE, or COBE, I'm just going to say COBE. What COBE did was it went into space and it took pictures of infrared light. And now remember, mind you that this light is actually pictures from the past because of how long it takes for light to travel all the way to us. And so I learned that it takes 7 minutes for the sun's light to get to the earth. And so if the sun were to go dead right now, we wouldn't really notice it until 7 minutes later. So, if that ever happened, that'd be kind of scary. But anyway, so these pictures that COBE took, these infrared pictures of light that COBE took, are from a long time ago, because, it's light, like I just explained. And so, there were ripples in the light, and it showed that if there was even a slight variation of what it showed, then the universe would have been, like, gone. We wouldn't even exist. Like, everything that it showed from the beginning to, from the early universe showed that it was put perfectly in place for us to live, for Earth to be made, for the universe to be here. And that's amazing. And what it showed, these pictures showed little clusters of light, and they called it galaxy seeds. But it's clusters of galaxies, not formed yet, but would be formed. These are showed from the past, the early universe. I think that's really cool. But it's like God is keeping the evidence here from the beginning to show us that He is here, that He created this, to prove us wrong, that He's not real. And the Christians are left standing saying, yep, we were right. Anyway, so that's galaxy seeds. And if there's even a slight variation, if there was a slight variation in it, in the way it was formed, we wouldn't be here. Now to letter E. E stands for Einstein's theory of general relativity. So, what is general relativity? Well, simply put, it's basically the idea of gravity. Except it says that gravity is not only just an invisible force, but also a warping and a bending of space. So it says that things that have more mass in space are able to attract more things to itself. For example, the sun. It's so big, yet it's 93 million miles away from the Earth. I believe it's million, yeah. It's so big, yet so far away, and it's close enough, not too far, not too close, but just perfect. It's called the Goldilocks complex. In just the right place to ripen our tomatoes. amazing. But it's also so big, it attracts everything in the solar system. And it spins around. Everything spins around the sun, or orbits, because of its gravitational pull. Yet, it's not so big that everything comes to the sun and burns. And it's not so small that everything departs from the sun and freezes. It's just the right amount of size, has just the right amount of mass to keep everything in the solar system, including planet Earth, in place so that we may live. Now, everything we've talked about, tell me that's not God. There's no way on Earth, in this universe, that all of this happened by chance. If you believe that, then you believe that. But I cannot. I don't have enough faith to believe that all this happened by chance. So that is the acronym SURGE. Now, one more thing I wanted to talk about. After everything we've looked at, we know that in order for there to be a beginner to this beginning, they have to be outside of the universe. Because some people say that natural things created nature. That doesn't make any sense, because if natural things created nature, then it couldn't have created it because it already existed in order to create it. So therefore, it had to be outside of that. And we have space all around us. We have, if you go into outer space, we have space where all the planets sit in the universe. We have time. The law of thermodynamics, as I was saying. Everything wears down through time. And then we have matter, everything that sits in this vacuum of space, including Earth. So, in order for something to create this, it has to be outside of space, time, and matter. And not only does it have to be outside of space, time, and matter, but it also has to be powerful in order to create it, intelligent in order to make it in all its complexity and outstanding everything just so put in order. As I was saying with the sun holding everything together, it's put in order. And it's so complex, so that this maker, this creator, also has to be intelligent and personal in order to even make the choice to create. Because it didn't happen by accident. So when you think of a spaceless, timeless, immaterial, powerful, intelligent, personal being, who do you think of? Most people think of God. Now, whether that's the Christian God, we haven't covered yet. But we will get to that after this series. But what we talked about on this board and in this video is amazing, and I hope you share it with everybody that you know, or at least people that care enough to listen about it. And I hope that this information has blessed you. This is more evidence for God, and it's just going to keep getting even better. And, yeah, so that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm just a guy with the Bible, and please share this video and so that more people can watch it and know that God exists and that He is real, and learn principles for growth in the Christian faith. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. I would love to answer them in an upcoming video sometime. So that would be amazing. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that God blesses you and have an amazing week.